Alright everybody, Christian King here again, and I'm coming at you with another Discord.js tutorial, and I was told by a couple of my friends that the last video's volume was a little too low. So I'm just going to quickly go over what we did last last video, so just bear with me real quick. Let me do a couple things. Just gotta pull this over just to blur this out. Okay, so what we did last video is we had created a Discord developer account, which not in this one. So what we did is we created a Discord developer account, and what that looked like was we went to our server settings, or our account settings, went to appearance, and just turned developer mode on. From there, we were able to go to the Discord developer portal, which allowed us to create our bot right here, and it gave us a little pop-up right here that asked us to turn our bot on. It gave us a token, and what we did was we used that information to put in to Visual Studio. We created an index folder and a package.json folder, or files, which would look like this. This is our index so far, and this is our configuration file. Excuse me, I didn't probably gross there. I'm going to replace the token again. Just copy paste that. Just make sure your token remains private. Anyway, we downloaded discord.js by opening up our command prompt. And what that looked like is we did npm install discord.js, like so. Oh, did not mean to highlight all that. And then we made sure we required our dependencies, which was discord.js and our Discord client. Then we added in our dependency for our prefix and our token, which our prefix is the exclamation point, but it can be any symbol. And we made sure our bot is able to talk to the log, and make sure our bot is able to talk to the messages. So today in this video, what I'm going to be showing you is how to create a message handler and a welcome message for any new user. In the next video, I will be teaching you how to auto assign roles, so anytime a user joins, they'll automatically get the role, the basic role for the server, as well as reacting to a message and getting additional roles. Anyway, so for all intents and purposes, I'm just going to hop right into it. So for a message handler, or a command handler, right now all we have is just one line of code here, but eventually we're going to get into commands that have multiple lines of code, and we want our index.js to be as concise as possible. So what we're going to do here, oops, didn't mean to do that, but what we're going to do here is we're going to create a new folder. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that folder just directly into our dev bot, or whatever your bot's name is, and we're going to name that folder commands. And from here, we want to require another dependency, or another variable, because this is not a dependency. And the variable that we're creating is called fs. And thankfully with discord.js, fs already comes into it. And excuse my cat, I'm going to put him on the floor. But thankfully fs already comes with discord.js, so we don't have to download anything here. I'm going to add a lot of spaces. And this is going to be where we create our command collection. And what a collection is JavaScript has what is called collections, and it's basically anything that's going to be inside of a folder that we're going to call in this collections is basically it's just going to be pulled, and that's called a collection. Sorry, I didn't mean to kind of butcher that explanation, but like I said in my last video, any questions you may have about these tutorials, feel free to hop into this DevEyes server, which will be linked in the description. But feel free to hop into this server and just message me. This is my user right here, Christian King. If you want to ask any questions, please feel free to join. and I can answer those questions for you. But let's get back to the video. But so what we're gonna do, we're gonna create our collection here before we actually get into any sort of command handling. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do client dot commands. Oops, didn't need to do 2 periods. Make sure you're only doing 1. We're gonna create a new collection. So we're gonna do new Discord dot collection. So that's basically it right there. So we just created our collection. What we want to do is we want to be able to reference this commands collection right here. So we're going to do const command files equals fs, which was our requirement up here, dot read dir sync, which was read directive, which directives have to do with collections, dot sync, and make sure we are calling the proper thread. So we're going to call our dot commands folder out of our parentheses dot filter. So now we want to filter everything inside of this. So we're going to do a file, open up our little caret right there, file, and we want to make sure they end with the proper, oopsies, ends with, well, that's fine, didn't autofill it, but we want to make sure it ends with the proper syntax or file name, and we want to make sure that they end with JS because we are working with JavaScripting, and that's what any JavaScript file has. And now we want to create a for loop. If you're not familiar with what a for loop is, it's very simple. But what a for loop is when we're working with collections, we want to be able to grab multiple things at once and call exactly what we're grabbing in that collection. So what a for loop does is it says for anything in this collection, we want to be able to read what's in this folder. So what we're going to do a for loop, and we're going to open and close our parentheses, and inside of the parentheses we're going to do const. And what const do we want to call? We want to call our files, not files, file of our command files. So for any file of our command files, what we want to do is we want to do const command. So we're creating our command, and we want to require, just like not request animation frame, require, we want to require what? Our file path. And actually I see an error right here. Just get rid of that period, make sure there's no period after redirect sync. But we want to require our path again, which, like most strings, we use the quotations, but for this string it's going to be very special. So we want to do our tilde keys, which is the key directly to the left of the one key. So we'll just press that, make sure we put in our tildes, and we'll do like normal commands. But this time we want to also call the exact file that will be inside of this folder. So we'll do $ open close curly brackets file, just like so. So what we've done is we created our for loop, so any command is going to be this right here. So our commands are going to be any file in this folder. So now we actually got to run our code. So commands, client.commands.get, because we want to be able to get the file that we are working with. So client.commands.get command.name, so we want to be able to get the command name and all of the code inside of that command, which is just command, like so. Close that off, and make sure we close this off as well. So rule of thumb for me, a semicolon in programming is like my period. So once you finish a sentence, it always comes with a period. So the only reason we don't put one in the for loop is because the end of the sentence is closing off the, well, okay, a for loop really isn't like the sentence. The for loop is the header. So we have the header right here and everything that's contained inside of the header. And this is just basic programming knowledge. Now everything inside of here is a sentence, and we want to make sure we end that sentence with the proper punctuation. And encoding, like I said, that's the semicolon. If you're working with Python, you won't need the semicolon, it's automatically defaulted. Anyway, so now that we have, excuse me, oh man, now that we have our collection set up, what we want to do is we want to come down here to our hello command. I'm just going to Control X and get rid of that. What we want to do is we want to replace that with client.command.set this time. And what we're setting is we are setting messages. I think, let me make sure I'm doing this properly. Do I look like I know what I'm doing? I'm not perfect. Okay. So first off, I messed this up. Yes, so up here we're not getting it, we're setting our command. Down here is where we're getting the command. Didn't seem like I was doing that right. So we're going to open up our parentheses, and we actually first want to make sure we're getting the command name, which something about this is naming conventions are key. If you are putting in the improper naming conventions, then you won't be able to properly run the command handling. So since the case command is hello, I want to make sure that we put in hello in the command get. And we want to do execute, which is a discord.js sort of function, and then inside of the execute we want to run message and arguments, just like what we have up here and right here. So we'll close that off, and now what we want to do is we want to create our command file. So we're going to go into our folder, new file, and make sure, like I said, naming conventions must remain the same. So we do hello.js because we made sure in our index that the .js ends with that. So now that we've done all of that, let me just run over here real quick. Give me just a sec, sorry everybody. Okay, cool. So we gotta come into our hello, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a little bit of JavaScripting, and module exports is needed for when we're working with collections. So if you're familiar with anything JavaScripting, you'll probably be familiar with module that exports. So we want to do name of our command, which, like I said, naming conventions are very important. So hello is the name, comma, and then we want to set our description. And what is our description? It's whatever it is. So this is hello. Cool. And finally, we want to run our execution. Not execution, but we want to run it. So we're going to execute. Yes, so we're going to throw in our message identifier in our args identifier. Open up our parentheses or our brackets. So const, no, we don't need to do const. What am I doing here? I can't think. And then we just throw in the code that we want to be run inside of the message. And like I said, it's only one line here, but sometimes if say we're running a music function, we'll get into in a later video, it's going to be much more than just one line of code. So it's best to just have it in one little file, whereas we're keeping over here very nice and clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up our command prompt. We're going to run our node period, and let's see, what is it not liking? Set of undefined. Well then, let's figure this out. I put in, it should. Okay. Commands. We got to make sure we're actually grabbing our commands right here. So now let's come back up here. So it says the bot is online, perfect. And if we come into our server and we come into our bot tutorials, we type in hello, and it works the same. So everything else runs exactly the same. It's just a little bit of extra work, but like I said, it keeps our command handlers very nice and clean. So let's go ahead and test this with a new command. So we're going to do case, and say we want to throw our YouTube channel. So we're going to do case YouTube, make sure we break it off, and I'm going to copy and paste this, put it right there. And like I said, naming conventions are key. So client commands.get YouTube. We are going to come into our commands, add a new file, naming conventions.js. And so here's what would happen if our commands are not the same. So I'm going to copy and paste this into here. Let me just grab my our YouTube channel real quick. So let's do YouTube. Let's put this in the message.send. Cool. So say I didn't change the name and I just kept it like this and I ran it. So what's going to happen is it's going to run fine. It's going to say the bot is online, but the moment I come into our server and I go exclamation YouTube, it's not going to throw anything out. Let's read this. So it says execute of undefined. So it's not able to understand what we're trying to throw out. So if we look at where it's calling it, it's basically saying right here, like, yo, dude, what is this YouTube? I don't know what this is. It's because of this name right here. It is a must that this all remains the same. So save that, replace it with our proper naming conventions. We're going to run our bot. This bot is online. We're going to come over into our server, type in exclamation YouTube, and it sends our dev eyes YouTube channel. Perfect, beautiful. Now, what if we want to get really fancy? So we've had our command handler, we have our bot is online, it's able to talk to the server. Now what if we want to create a way for us to welcome new members, but make it our own? Because Discord has this really nice, pretty little welcome message. If you see here, I have already set up what it's going to look like. So when we have new members come in, let's say welcome to the server, we are glad you're here. But so we see all this right here. So the bots do their own thing, or Discord automatically has their own little welcome message. But what if we want to send one that's nice and fun? Make it our own. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new client.on method. I'm just going to say this is our welcome message. So we're going to do client.on. Instead of message, we're going to do what's called guild member add. So what the guild is, that's your server. Simple as that. So we're going to do guild member add, and instead of a message parameter, we're going to do a member parameter this time. So we're going to open up our brackets like normal. Oopsies. So we're going to open up our brackets like normal, and then in our guild member add, let's make sure we're able to talk to the server. So anytime a guild member comes in, we'll do member.user.username plus has joined inside of our string. So we'll close that off, and let's just go ahead and add my fellow little side guy right here. Oops, let me invite him once again. Invite people, CM King 1. It's my little side account here. So we're gonna add him, and he joins the server like so. And we're gonna come here. It's going to say, so it didn't talk to it. So something happened. And I'm an idiot. So anytime we're doing anything, anytime we're doing any sort of tutorialization or making sure our bot runs, I want to make sure we're always running it. So node.period, come into here, join the server, and CM King 1 has joined. So perfect, it's talking to the server. I'm gonna kick him one more time just so we can do the rest of our code. So great, we made sure that the bot is talking to the server when a guild member has joined. So now we want to make sure that we're getting the correct channel. We're going to do let channel, that's just the variable name. We're going to do member.guild.channel channels, because that is what we're trying to look for. We're trying to look for the right channel. Cache.find. And what are we going to find? So there's multiple ways of doing this. You can do it by name, or you can do it by ID. ID is a lot easier just because it makes sure that it finds the very exact specific one with that ID. So what we're going to do is we're going to do channel. We're going to open it up to find what we're looking for. Channel.id, 3 equal signs. And what do we put inside of this string? So if you've created your dev account properly, what you can do is you can right click your channel names, and you'll see this little copy ID button down here. So this is only accessible to people who have created their dev account. So we're going to copy our ID, and we're just going to paste that into the channel.id. So we found the channel. Now we want to say if it does not exist, which that's the point of the exclamation point. So if there's no channel with that ID, we're just going to return nothing happens. But if there is, we want to do channel.send to that specific channel, and we're going to do a specific little, like what we did up here for our string. We want to do the tilde keys, $, open close brackets, curly brackets, and we're going to do member. So we're getting the member name, and we just want to say something special like thank you for joining. We are glad you are here. So you can make it a little extra spicy as well by doing the Windows key and the period key, which will pull up your emoji selection here. Let's just do the basic smiley face. Cool. So great. We have added their role. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that once they join, they get their specific role. So let new member, very similar to what we did up here with our channels.cache, we're going to do member.guild, but instead of channels, we're going to do roles, because we're looking for roles, cache.find. And once again, we want to make our role variable. And what is that equal to? It is equal to role.id. And the way to get your role ID is... Okay, that's tough. Okay, I see. Duh. Okay, so the way to get our role ID is we'll come into our server, go to your server settings, go to roles, and what kind of role do we want? We just want the basic role that everyone gets. And we'll come down here, paste that role in, and then we don't need to do anything for the role not existing. You can if you want to, but we'll just do member.roles.add new member. Okay, well that didn't work. New member. And if you want to get a little extra fun, you can do member.send, and you can send them thanks for joining once again. This is just to, if you want to send them a personalized message, like a little bit of extra flair. I don't really enjoy that because it gets a little tedious and people kind of feel like maybe they're trying a little too hard here, but you can if you want to. So we've done all this. We found the channel that we want to get. If there's no channel, just return as normal. But if there is, then we say thanks for joining, send them that message, and then we also want to make sure we find that role, or the basic server role. That way once they join, the developers, or the administrators I should say, don't have to do that themselves. It's all automatic. So we will come into our command prompt here. Ooh, whoa, what is this? Okay. Well, so node period, the bot is online. Excuse me. Come into our join message right here, and as you can see, look at that. CM King, thank you for joining. We are glad you are here, with our little emoji and message. And as you can see, he joined and he already has the role, and I did not have to do anything. So just a quick little recap. What we did is we had created our command handler, which was use of a collection, which you can use collections for many different things. we made sure that our naming conventions are the same for what we are trying to do. And then finally we added a welcome message to the proper channel and gave the members the proper role. Anyway, if you have any questions, like I've always said, please feel free to join the Discord that will be linked below in the description. I will be happy to answer any questions, or you can just utilize the comments, and I'm sure to read all of them as quickly as I can. Though I'm a busy man, I'm working full-time and going to school full-time as well. But like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I will gladly help you assist in that issue and try to fix that. Join the Discord. Can't stress that enough. We would love to have you here. But yeah, if you like this video, please feel free to give it a like. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscription, hit that bell notification, as it will alert you anytime any new videos come out. And by the way, Saturday, Saturday, October the 3rd will be our first podcast, so please tune into that. It will be linked in our Twitch. We're going to be discussing what is so great about the game Among Us. So yeah, please feel free to join in. We'd love to see you there. Anyway, wrapping it up for now, as this video is about to reach 30 minutes. I wish you all the best and good luck in your endeavors on creating a Discord bot personalized to your own server. Anyway, thanks and have a good day.